Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome into another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. Dan Hafner joining you here as always. It is Christmas Eve morning, my friends. It is a very special Christmas Eve morning indeed. I was debating whether or not to actually do shows today and tomorrow, but they are during the week, right? I'll make them short. I'll make them sweet. We'll get a good topic in today and tomorrow, and we'll enjoy the holidays all together. So, as always, thank you all for joining. Today's topic is this: giving the gift. Thought I would just talk a little bit about, tie some of the holiday stuff into here, right? Since it is that time of year, it is a time of giving, it is a time of reflecting, gearing up for the next upcoming year in all of our lives, 2019, which I'll get into a little bit more later in the week. But for now, we're going to stop and be more reflective. And I wanted to talk about this episode about giving the gift, right? Christmas is obviously a time of gift giving where it can be, in some people's opinions, it can be way too extreme at times, but it is a very widely accepted thing to give gifts to people and to receive gifts. And there's a whole bunch of different things we could talk about inside of this, but really what I wanted to focus on was this concept of, like, think about a true gift that you got from someone. Maybe it wasn't, an awesome toy or a new tech gadget or something, but if you think back to a gift that you got from someone that really meant something, it was one of two things, right? It was either handmade, that somebody actually took a lot of thought and time into putting into, which is obviously awesome. Or two, it was something that you really needed at the time. Like, you didn't even know you had a need for it until you opened it up from someone and you're like, oh, wow. Like, yeah, this is actually really awesome. Thank you for this. And then, like, you have that progressive escalation of enjoyment, right? And I can remember a couple of times in my life where, I had those gifts that, either my parents or someone else or a friend or somebody had got for me that just made me feel like, oh, wow, like they know me better than I know myself, right? And I'll talk about that one a little bit first. Like we can tend to get caught up, especially as the year goes on and comes down to a close here, we get caught up in our own stories. We get caught up in everything going on in our lives, and it's hard to get outside of our own perspective. But a lot of times it's very easy for the people around us, that love us and care about us and spend time with us, to see the struggles we're going through or the continual problems or issues we run into. And if they're really paying attention and really thinking about, you as an individual and what you're going through and the challenges you have, it becomes very easy for them to insert this gift or this, gadget or whatever it might be into your life to actually make something easier on you. To be like, you know what, they really need this, or they could really use this for a good purpose. Even if it's expensive, it's worth it, because the value, you might spend $100 on it or $150 on it or $500 on it or whatever, but the value that they get out of that is a million times more than the value of what, you gave them. And I've seen this, a couple times in my life where there's this gift that comes through and it really impacts somebody, right? Like it really makes a profound impact on, like, not only their life, but your relationship with them, right? Like there's this bond that's created just through that simple act of just being selfless and giving a gift of, like, man, you really know me better than I know myself. Right? And it's not giving something that they just really, really wanted to have, but it's giving that something that is a need that they didn't even know that they needed, right? I think it's pretty cool. And then obviously the handmade gifts are really awesome too, especially from kids and family members that, are into crafts or art or whatever it might be, because those show that takes a lot of time to put into something, right? Like anyone can go to the store and spend money on something and buy something just to buy it, right? But to actually take the time to craft something, to think through what they like, what their interests are, how they'll use it, where they could use it, how it benefits them, all those things. And then to actually take the time to craft it, to do whatever it is, how involved it is, those are really, really special as well, And it might not be something that you need, like in the first example, but, it's something that is very, very useful, very sentimental, and creates, a whole lot of value in their life. And I wanted to talk about one other thing here in the quote of the day. If I had it here. It's hard to stay positive. Some people have a hard time staying positive and joyful at this time of year. And, I do want to give a shout out to anyone out there that might be going through a tough time. That might be, the holidays might be, a tough reminder of, a lost loved one or a broken relationship or something that, just kind of causes a little bit of pain and frustration around this time of year. And just want to give a quick shout out to anyone out there that's feeling that way, that, it's okay. It's all right to feel that. I mean, it's perfectly normal, right? Like, I know it's hard to go through some of your, the days when everyone's happy and go lucky and whatever. And here you are with all this pain inside of you, and it's tough. I've been there before. And just wanted to, kind of have throw this quote out there for all of you out there that might be going through a tough time this holiday, or just struggling with anything. It might not even be now. You could always look back on this episode later. But here's today's quote, and I really think it's a good one. Some days are just bad days. That's all. You have to experience sadness to know happiness. And I remind myself that not every day is going to be a good day. That's just the way it is. I'll read that one more time for you guys. Some days are just bad days. That's all. You have to experience sadness to know happiness. And I remind myself that not every day is going to be a good day. That's just the way it is. And that really ties back into, what I was saying before is, sometimes you have to experience that sadness and that frustration and regret or whatever it might be in order to grow through that and actually feel a sense of happiness and worthiness and fulfillment someday. And it might suck right now. I get it. I've been there. But hang in there. Know that we're all thinking about you and that things will improve. Nothing lasts forever. And that's just the way it is. So I'm going to try to not end this podcast on a somber note like that, but just want to talk about, this concept of giving gifts and how, that ties into the holiday season and everything. So that's going to be a wrap for today's show. As always, thank you all for joining on this special Christmas Eve edition of the Run Your Day podcast. Be sure to check us out tomorrow as well. I might even throw in a little live video on our Facebook page as well for you guys. So be on the lookout for that. As always, thank you all for joining. Have a very good and safe Christmas Eve, whatever festivities you're taking part of with your families. We wish everyone a Merry, Merry Christmas from me, my wife, the Run Your Day podcast, everyone out there. So, as always, thank you all for joining, and we will talk to you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.